Penn State comes back from down in the late fourth quarter and shocks Purdue in a great college football opener victory on Thursday night in West Lafayette. Penn State comes out on top with their opening win of the season. They won that game behind Sean Clifford. Even though he struggled a little bit, he came through in the clutch, but what a victory for Sean Clifford and Penn State. Here we go with our 5-minute recap of Penn State and Purdue. We'll start off with that Penn State team. That offense, it struggled. It was a little bit inconsistent. Sean Clifford struggled quite a bit. The Purdue defense gave him different looks and struggled passing the ball. He did account for 5 total touchdowns, 4 through the air. But once again, he did struggle. Threw that one pick late in the fourth quarter, which cost him big time. The momentum shifted at that point, and it looked like Purdue was going to run away with it at that point, going up 31-28. But Sean Clifford came back in that final drive and got the victory. Went 6 for 7, 72 yards, and got Penn State the victory. Carried him on his back and got them the victory there. They struggled throughout the game to generate long drives. They benefited off poor tackling by the Purdue defense, getting them 2 touchdowns late in the second half, going into halftime, giving them the lead at that point, 21-10. And also the running backs. The running back was a running back by committee. No one stood out there, so they're going to have to, going forward, get a better running game going forward. The offensive line struggled a little bit, protecting Sean Clifford and getting those run lanes going, but they will have to be better on the run if they want to be more successful going forward against the Ohio States and Michigans going forward. On the defensive side of the ball, they played solid enough in Manny Diaz's first year as a defensive coordinator. Drew up some good blitz calls in the final drive, in the final couple of drives there at the end. And cornerback Porter, he's a fantastic cornerback. He will be one of the best cornerbacks in college football and could be even the first one picked in the NFL draft going into this year. Now shifting over to the Purdue side, the Purdue offense picked up right where it left off last year. The offense was great in the passing game. O'Connell and Jones kind of reminded me of a Stafford Cup in the NFL at the Rams chemistry-wise. They were fantastic together. I don't know for sure Jones's final stat line, but I think he had around 9 catches for, 140 yards or so, right around there, and a touchdown. So Jones will be the go-to after David Bell leaves last year. This season, Jones will be the go-to, and I expect big numbers coming out of him. And I'm sure Iowa fans right now are dreading losing him and not using him the way that Purdue is using him. Did use him today. But big pickup, Jones was fantastic. And O'Connell was great too. But the running game did not produce what they needed to produce. Yes, they got 2 touchdowns, which is great for them. But what lost them the game was the inability to chew the clock down. They had the ball with 4 minutes left, I believe, and they went to the passing game and not the running game. They did not trust the running game. They had to go to the passing game, had a couple incompletions, that controversial one that went to replay. That caused the clock to not roll. Penn State had their timeouts, which they didn't even need to use in the final drive, but the inability to trust the run game and use the run game was what lost Purdue that game. Purdue could have easily won this game, but going to the defensive side, those bad tackling at the end of the half, giving them the touchdown, the 67-yard touchdown, I believe, to go up 21-10, and in the third quarter on the slant around the 25-yard line, I believe, the inability to tackle there got them 2 touchdowns, and that could have been the difference maker. If Penn State could have settled for a field goal on that slant, the game's totally different, and if they were able to tackle in the end of the second half, then touchdown may not have happened, but it did, and Purdue lost because of that as well. The defense did play pretty well, though. They generated that pick 6 there at the end on a Sean Clifford wild throw, but they did generate enough good pass defense that gave Penn State good looks, and Penn State struggled against. But the big key to take away here, Purdue did not trust their run game, didn't allow them to chew the clock, which lost them the game, and Penn State took full advantage of it in a gritty win, a backyard kind of win. Nothing flashy really out of Penn State. They are going to need bigger plays going forward. Going into the season, more teams are going to tackle better. It is week 1. So great win, though, by Penn State, being able to come out and grind there at the end and get the victory on the road in West Lafayette, starting off their season 1-0. Tough loss for the Purdue Boilermakers at home, as they were hoping to start off the season well in a great conference matchup in Week 1. So there's a wrap up of the Penn State at Purdue game. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the content, like and subscribe, comments, and thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good one.